for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, well, you would see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. 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 If it's a car you lack, I'd surely buy you a Cadillac. Whatever you need, any time of the day or night. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off, won't you stand up and take a bow? And when we both get older.
Guys, welcome. Happy, what day is it? What day is it today? Wednesday? We're on a Wednesday? Guys, usually we do this on Sundays, but today's Wednesday, hump day. And I tell you what, guys, to get us over the line, my biggest influence in this nasty business at times, and one of my dear friends, and the smartest mind within the sport. It's a pleasure to introduce the incomparable Coach James Gogue. James, how you doing, my friend?
Hey Joe, I'm doing good. Still, got a little, getting over this sickness I got in Mexico City. We were training up there. I gotta go tomorrow. I gotta go to this herbalist and see what kind of shit they could give me to kill this parasites in my body.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Well, I hope you get better, brother. But I tell you what, it's time for a celebration, guys, because, well, guess who just celebrated their birthday? The incomparable. We had Coach Ronnie Shields celebrating his birthday yesterday. He had a great time. And tonight, this is an homage to our very dear friend, the 5-decade fight trainer, James Gogue. And I tell you what, Coach, like I've stated earlier, several times on this show, there would be no show without your involvement, brother. Thank you for everything, man, that you do. And happy birthday, brother, from all of us at War Week Radio. There's no one else like you in the sport, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. 61 years young, and God willing, with his help, I'll keep doing this as long as I could do it, as long as my health is good. You know what I mean? I'm to the point of my career. You know what I mean? Shit, this is my golden years, man. And I'm not going to put up with a lot of bullshit. I'm going to try to keep my stress level as low as possible. That's the main thing, Joe. Keeping my peace of mind and my stress level as low as possible, and just enjoy this stuff. And, and make it a point to have the discipline to make sure I can control my emotions and don't get overly agitated like I did last week in Mexico City in the fights and everything, man. Because I could tell, man, it affects me. It affects me physically. You know what I mean? I can feel the stress and everything. So yeah, that's the discipline I got to build up in myself, is to control my emotions and not get caught up in a good win. Win or loss, don't get caught up in it, man. You know what I mean? And just enjoy the moment. I mean, enjoy every moment.
Well, yeah, brother, because you're a lot like I am. I should say I'm a lot like you are. And yeah, we carry emotions on our sleeve. We can't help it. And one of the things that makes me effective as a commentator, as a ring announcer, as just being on a podcast, is, yeah, I'm very passionate about everything. And if you guys joined us last night, well, you heard all of it come out because I was really tired and I downed a pot of coffee before the show. And so I was just a machine gun last night. And we went on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was putting poor G Funky to sleep. And I was still going, man. And I will never do that again because, yeah, I couldn't go to sleep last night.
Okay.
But I tell you what, though, Coach. Once again, happy birthday, brother. This is a very special day. And once again, yeah, man, I couldn't do any of this without you. And guys, and if you didn't know, Coach Gogue, once again, my biggest influence in this business. I was so green and I thought I was hot shit because I could write and I knew about boxing. And just like a lot of these fans, I thought I was every bit of the expert because I knew more about boxing than everyone else that I knew. But when I started covering the sport, boy, Coach Gogue, he put me in check and prepared me for the road ahead. And guys, I will tell you this, if it weren't for Coach Gogue's tutelage, there's no way in hell I could have walked through the front door.
With them, you would have never got a chance to talk to Emmanuel Stewart. And yeah, no, because you didn't, Joe. Back then, like I said, or Don Chargan, you weren't seasoned enough. Okay,
not even close.
To talk their language, to speak their language. So they would have seen it right off the bat, and they wouldn't have gave you no they would have gave you no street cred. But because you know, I ain't trying to brag. I trained you good to provide you the information to you could talk on the same lingo as them, so they know that they're not dealing with the fucking full of shit, phony baloney they run across all the time in this fucking bullshit sport. You know what I mean?
That's it, brother. That's it. And once again, because of your tutelage, yeah, I got my foot in the door and I was able to hang with pretty much everybody.
Everybody, you know.
Yep. Everybody I know. Yep. Everybody. And it's not just the boxing part, right? Not just the X's and O's, but the management, the promotional, everything, brother.
Yeah.
And so thank you for all of that, man. It means a great deal to me that we're still working together. Ching Yao, dude, it's been a long time.
Oh, yeah, Joe. Emmanuel wouldn't have let you in his circle and be part of his team, you know? So
No. And we used to stay on the phone, Emmanuel and I, for 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And once again, he trusted me with everything. And yeah. Don as well, man. He would have never taken the time out to mentor me as well if it weren't for you.
I mean, come on, Joe. Manuel, I mean, how many people he runs across all the time, and how many people does he let in his in that tight inner circle? Come on, man. All right.
None. Very few.
Very few.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, guys, fans, if you're listening out there, and I'm not talking about the ones who are the Warwick Radio extended family members, because you guys are sharp, and my hat's off to you, and I boast about you guys all the time. I always tell everyone, my listeners, my Warwick Radio extended family members are among the most intelligent and insightful on all of YouTube. But other fans, Chingao guys. Yeah, and they will sit there. You'll know the truth, and they'll sit there and try to argue with you.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And the only way the reason why I learned is because when Gogue was talking, it's like E.F. Hutton. I shut the hell up and I listened.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, he'd hang up the phone.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, so this is a very special episode of Warwick Radio, Coach Gogue's Big Fight Preview. Because not only are we going to be previewing Sergey Derevyanchenko versus Jaime Munguia, but we're going to do the big one from New York, at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be Josh Taylor defending his lineal 140-pound championship as well as his WBO title against Teofimo Lopez. Coach, I cannot wait for that, brother. I cannot wait for that. Your initial thoughts on that, sir?
Ooh, it's a big fight. You're having, what is it? The former undisputed lightweight champion of the world against the former undisputed junior welterweight champion. of the world. So you got two undisputed champions, former undisputed champions, going head to head at Crossroads fight. Okay,
Yep.
both looked like shit their last fight. They didn't look good at all. I know it's burning in them because of their performance and all the criticism they had to take. So, you know, they're itching to get back in the ring. And plus, they don't like each other. Both fighters have been talking the talk. Okay, promoting the fight. Big fight on both sides of the pond. Yeah, I got, and you got, like I said, both these guys can fight. Okay, it ain't Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. All right, all right. These are real world-class fighters going at it. Okay, the best fighting the best. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited too, guys. I cannot wait. And the best part of it is, guys, it's going to be on regular mainstream ESPN.
Yeah.
No pay-per-view, no huge subscription. This is for all the world to see, guys. All eyes should be on this one. And, you know, here's the sad part, though. Dude, Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz is in a bigger venue. And there's probably going to be a lot more eyeballs on that. So what gives, Gogue? What do we have to do? Now, once again, you look at the last two pay-per-views that we've had, right? Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, 1.3 million, okay, pay-per-view purchases, and a huge live gate at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, the fifth largest in the history of Vegas boxing. And then you look in comparison, for all the marbles at 135, Vasyl Lomachenko and Devin Haney, well, very disappointing numbers, 130,000 in comparison. What do we have to do to put the right fights back in center court, so to speak?
Let's keep the best fighting the fight, best fighting the best. Okay, the best fighting the best on a consistent basis. You know, what do you call it? Change the perception. It's got to be consistency, Joe. All right, nothing gets done without consistency. So you know they just keep putting these matches on. The best fighting the best, and everybody knows who the best are in the weight divisions. Okay, and then everything will, you know, work itself out and everything. But if they're gonna, you know, bullshit and protect their records and you know, hide from fighting each other, and then you got a fraud sport, which it's in right now, a niche sport, I call it.
Yep. And look, guys, and once again, everything is determined by you guys, right? Pressing that little button on your remotes, going online and purchasing these events. Yeah, it determines everything, guys. If you don't want people or promoters, networks to go and plan for these KSI events, Jake Paul events, bullshit YouTuber events, guys, you have to be the real bosses of boxing once again. And that only happens if you continuously financially support the product. Doesn't happen without your involvement, guys. None of this does. So, guys, with that said, Gogue, what did you think of your intro now, man, for this special day?
Different.
Did you see any of the pictures, man? Did you see I actually inserted a Lawrence Claybay photo for you?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. It's like a timeline, a yearbook. Yeah.
If you guys missed it, go ahead and rewind it or just, you know, look at it again, guys. But yeah, I made a special intro for this day for Gogue, and just an appreciation of everything that he's meant to the show, the influence that he's had in my career. And, you know, Gogue, I love you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I tell you what, guys, and if you're wondering, oh, gosh, and it almost saddens me because I actually like this show, The Golden Girls, right? The song from The Golden Girls, no, it's actually a real song. It's actually made by Andrew Gold. And yes, it's called Thank You for Being a Friend. But the song is much better. I actually made a full-length intro for 4 minutes showing a bunch of, like, you with, you know what, my favorite, and just a bunch of different photos. and it was 4 minutes. But unfortunately, this studio, it limited it was too big. The folder was too big, the file. So I couldn't upload it. So I shortened it to only 2 minutes. So guys, anyway, it was a special homage to the great James Gogue. But I tell you what though, Coach, you've never told me this. In all the years that you've been, we've been working together and we've been friends, you've never told me this. Now, obviously, Don Chargan, and the first time, like, he told me, right, he's like, I will say this about James Gogue. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. And two, most importantly, I've never met a better scout for talent, a better eye of talent, a more accurate eye of talent in this business than James Gogue. And brother, he's been promoting fights since the 50s. That's saying something, Coach. So let me ask you something. How did you actually meet and start working with Don Chargan, the legend, the Hall of Fame matchmaker and promoter, arguably the best to have ever done it?
Oh, shit, it was back in 83. I met him in Lorraine when I got into this racket. I didn't know shit. I was just a young guy growing up. But over the years, I learned and studied him, on how he used to do, promote the club shows in Sacramento, build the guys up from the 4-round stage to 6, 8, 10, make them gate attractions, make them, then TV would come in once the gates got bigger. Then they made their way to the title, made them, top 10 contenders. Then he got them the title shots and everything. I seen him, like I said, I seen him develop a lot of kids from the Sacramento region, fighters that nobody wanted, top rank, all the big promoters. So Don took them, developed them, cultivated the market. Most important, made them ticket sellers. So they had a market behind him. Then once they had a market behind him, he could do bigger things. And TV wanted to come, once they saw, Tony Lopez, Loretto Garza were becoming big draws and everything. But that's why I met Don and I learned everything. I learned the boxing business, the old school way on how to build fighters up in their local hometowns. You know what I mean? Not Indian casinos and all that shit, but their hometowns. Cultivate the markets. Then, Joe, it's always been a passion of mine. I always studied the amateurs. I always followed all the top amateurs ever since Mike Tyson, Pernell Whitaker, Evander Holyfield, all those. And when I was younger, I used to, Muhammad Ali was my hero, Sugar Ray Leonard. Then all the greats like Aguayo, Duran, and all that, I followed them, watched them, studied them. Joe, it's just being what do you call it? Grinding, just grinding every day, studying the business, cultivating your skills, your instincts. Okay, cultivating your talents, and that's over the you're talking about over the years. I learned all this stuff, man. So when it came to training fighters, I started training guys back in '88. I learned my right off the bat, I was pretty sharp. Okay, I could work the hand pads. Right off the bat, I could work the hand pads with all the top fighters in Sacramento, all the world champions, all the future world champions. Got Guillermo Jordan, Diego Corrales. You know what I mean? All the top 10 fighters I worked with, and I had a God-given, what do you call it? Instinct, talent, knowing how to teach, how to coach, and everything. But I was still young. I was still green. Back then, we didn't have YouTube or nothing. Okay, so basically, all the great trainers I've met in the past, like Futch, all of them, man, all of them. Murphy Griffin, you name them, I met them. Emmanuel, man, you name all the great trainers. Jesse Reed, Joe Goose, all the great trainers I met in the past back then. Benton, I met them all, and I used to ask them a lot of questions, and then they would give me answers and everything. And I've been in the gym with all of them, and been around so many great fighters over the years in the gym. Especially when I was in Big Bear Lake with Larry Goosen, when he had his gym up there, all the great champions of that time trained there. So, I got to see all the champions trained. I got to see all their coaches, Bowie Fischer when he was working with Hopkins,
Wow.
I got to see how they worked. Pick their mind, and you know what I mean, Joe. I remember I went back when I was in Big Bear Lake one time, training. I was watching. I think it was Manuel Stewart. He was training Lennox Lewis. I went back to my hotel room after the fight, or the house, and I told myself, man, how can I be a great trainer like them? You know what came into my head? First thing that popped into my head?
Talent.
I got to get a Lennox Lewis. Okay, I got to get a Thomas Hearns, Terry Norris, Bernard Hopkins, all them badasses that were training up there. That's how I said to myself, that's how I become a great trainer. Then over the years, it's more than a trainer. Joe Goosen told me, he never would have had his success in the business if it wasn't for his brother Dan. Okay,
need a promoter. Yep.
You need a promoter. Great as you are as a trainer, great as you are, great as your talent is, if you ain't got a promoter, you know what I mean? It ain't gonna happen. So it's a combination of being a great trainer, great talent, and a great promoter backing you. It's a team. All the stuff I learned over the years, and the levels to this game, Joe. Like Lou Duva told me a long time ago, it takes years to learn the levels of this game. Oh my God, was he right? He told me this in the early '90s, and boy, is he right. It takes years to understand the levels, okay, of this game. And over the years, like I said, Joe, I learned everything from training fighters. Jesse Reed, he really perfected up my game about teaching me the shoulder roll. We fought on the James Toney versus Mike McCallum. We fought on the second time they fought in Reno. We fought on the undercard.
What a fight!
and Jesse took me under his wings. And you're there, Joe?
Right here, brother.
He took me under his wings and showed me all the little nuances of that shoulder roll. He goes, you see how Tony's doing this? You see how he's doing that? You see how he's doing this? You see how he moves his upper body up and down? He goes, that's a great trainer he has, and Bill Miller. Bill Miller taught him all that. He taught me about that. And I do that a lot. I teach my fighters that they have the talent and ability. I teach them how to do it. Then he taught me about angles. He taught me about leverage and all the other stuff I picked up over the years. I taught myself. I learned in the gym working with so many fucking different fighters, and being a trainer. Then I understand. I learned the management part of it, which I can't stand. The promotional part from Don Chargan, matchmake for Don Chargan. When he was doing shows in Texas, I did matchmaking. Did shows with him when I was in the Rio Grande Valley. You know what I mean? He always trusted me. When I told Don, hey, man, you can bring down a show here. Because he had TV dates back then with Telefutura with Golden Boy. He never questioned me, man. Every time he knew I learned from him. So he knew everything was going to be done right. And every show I did with Don, he made money. But anyway, it's a combination of years being in this business. And back then, Joe, we didn't have YouTube. A lot of motherfuckers nowadays, they can learn shit real quick. All you got to do is Google, put in what you want to learn, and on YouTube, you'll get a million so-called professors trying to teach you shit. But back then, I didn't have that. So how did I learn back then, Joe? How did I learn back then, Joe?
Well, you do.
DCRs. I bought them. I had multiple sources where guys would think, I want to study a fighter, like the great Orlando Canizales. I had my boy back then, Skip Lesperance. He would send me some. He sent me. I buy videos from him. Their fights.
I call Orlando the original Vasil Lomachenko.
Yeah. Well, Jesse Reed was his trainer from the first fight on. He taught him the footwork. But Joe, listen, like I said, another guy named Bella from New York. I used to get my shit from him. But I went through different sources that sold boxing to VCRs. Back then, we didn't have YouTube, man. Yeah. All right? We didn't have the internet. So, they would send me shit. I put it in and watch it and study. Yeah, man, nowadays, these motherfuckers, man, all they got to do is go to YouTube and it's there. So fucking easy. It's so fucking, back then it was different, man. I learned it. But, majority of my education is being in the gym with the fighters. Every day I learn something. But anyway, yeah, that's my university.
That's it, guys. And once again, we're all the beneficiaries. Thanks to YouTube. Well, we all get to learn from you today.
Yeah, yeah.
And once again, well, I have to give a big shout out before we actually say hello to our very dear friends in the chat. Very first one up. Thank you, Sly Tendencies, our dear friend. Thank you for the big super chat. And he says, happy belated Ronnie Shields. And once again, happy birthday, James Gogue.
Thank you.
He says, great article about the Fury Usyk situation. You made Ring IQ's head explode. Well, that's not hard, man. Just, well, no, he's not tall enough to go on the Rattler yet or the any major roller coaster, so you can't do that. But shout out to Coach Gogue. Weekend picks. We're going to get to that, brother. And thank you, Sly, for always being here and supporting the coach, my friend. But before we get to the main event of the evening, and once again, we have so many questions to ask you, Coach, because once again, you're a plethora of knowledge. But let's say hello to our very dear friend from Philly, Joseph Brown. Salute, Joseph and Coach James. Look forward to Teo versus Taylor breakdown. And as you should, brother, because Coach Gogue is the man when it comes to breaking down and previewing fights. He also says, happy birthday, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I also want to say hello to our very dear friend, G Funky Boxing. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to G Funky Boxing, one of the best channels on YouTube devoted to boxing, everything boxing. Greetings, Joe and Coach Gogue. Yep.
He's from Sacramento, huh?
He's from Sacramento, brother.
Oh, God. That once great boxing town is a fucking shit. It's dead.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
back then, I told you guys before, Sacramento was only a population with 350,000. But back then, well, 4 world champions came out of that area, 4 or 5 world champions. 2 other guys fought for the title. Sacramento was a hotbed, man, you know, because Don Chargan, he cultivated the market. It was a hot, and back then there was only maybe like 2 boxing gyms back then. I heard in Sacramento right now, I talked to Tony Lopez, the Tiger, former 3-time champion. I talked to him, I don't know, a few months back, and he told me there's a shitload of gyms over there in Sacramento now, but there ain't no fighters.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like San Antonio, actually, man.
Yeah.
With the exception of Bam Rodriguez. Well, there are a couple of great prospects, and we'll talk about that some other time. But thank you, G Funky, for joining us, man, on this special evening. I also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Issy B. DeVoe. And he says, happy birthday, Coach. Good to hear your voice, as always.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Bruce, Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute, Joe and Coach Gogue. And there it is.
Hey, what's up, Bruce?
And if you guys haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, Bruce. Always great stuff. Has interviews with and discussions with a lot of legends of the sport. He's a great boxing historian. You won't be disappointed. Please go subscribe to my brother, Bruce. Thank you for joining us today, sir, and thank you for always being here for the coach. Yeah, and oh boy, here comes Slight Tendencies. He says, shout out to the legendary Coach James Gogue and the host of the most, Joe Herron. Thank you so much, brother, for being here for the coach, and thank you for the super chat, by the way. And he says, yes, Sacramento. Indeed, brother. So be honest, Gogue. Be honest. How on earth, because I can't even imagine this today, how on earth did Don cultivate fighters from club shows to the championship? Now, keep in mind, guys, back then, they weren't giving away belts like they are today.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
How on earth did you guys do that?
Well, Don did it. I was there just to learn. Consistency. Look, man, before Don hit the Sacramento market, well, he always did the Sacramento market, even when he was doing shows at the Olympic, Lorraine would do the Sacramento market. But when he was doing it, when he concentrated on the Sacramento market, when his time at the Olympic ended in '84, he concentrated and put more of his time in the Sacramento market exclusively. He didn't do a lot of shows other places in California or Northern California. So he put, you know what I mean? He had a good network of people that helped him move tickets. He had, look, Joe, he know how to do it. He's done it so many fucking times. It's like riding a bike. So when he went to Sacramento, he knew how to cultivate the market. He knew how to develop ticket sellers because he was doing it. He did that everywhere in California, okay, before he went to the Olympic, okay? He knew how to put asses in the seats. He knew the fights that the fans wanted to see and everything. So it's just, his experience being in the business so long. Back then it was like 30 years. Yeah, he was in the business for like 30 years when he hit the Sacramento market. So it was like riding a bike. He knew what he had to do. When local guys like Loretto Garza, Tony Lopez, Willie Jordan, you know what I mean? Nobody wanted him. So he developed them on the put him on the undercards when Bobby Chacon was there. Okay, built him up on the undercards. Yeah, another champion he built up over there. Yeah,
that's another crazy champion. Brother. Yeah. And guys, if you must know how Gogue's mentor Don Chargan earned the moniker War a Week Chargan, working at the Olympic, just being the matchmaker for promoter Eileen Eaton.
Yeah,
he was expected. To come up with a different fight card every single week at the legendary Olympic Auditorium.
Crazy.
Now, you tell me anyone else who could possibly do that for 25 years.
20 years. World record. 1,000 shows, one a week for 20 years straight. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine anyone doing that, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unheard of.
But, question for Mr. Joseph Brown. He says, Coach Gogue, what things did you take from Eddie Futch?
Oh, Eddie was a brilliant guy, man. Brilliant guy. He taught fundamentals. How important defense is. Okay. How important that jab is. Stuff like that. Fundamentals. What do you call it? Oh, yeah. The importance of having a contract with your fighters. He don't trust none of them. Yeah. Yeah. The importance of having a contract with your fighter. Stuff, old school stuff like, parring your opponent's jab, parring your opponent's right hand, catching and countering with catching and countering and stuff like that. Yeah. Basic, good, fundamental. Eddie was a very well, you talk to any trainer, great trainer. They all stress fundamentals. Yeah. Mr. Futch Eddie was a brilliant man. I knew him real well, man. Oh yeah, well, I was in camp with him. Shit, Tahoe, Big Bear, on the fight circuit. I used to see him all the time. Oh yeah. He's a brilliant man. Considered one of the greatest trainers of all time. A great boxing man. Yeah.
There it is, brother. And so thank you for the question, Joseph. So Mike Ladarius, welcome to the show, sir. He says, no one better than Coach Gogue.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I can wholeheartedly agree with that, brother. And want to welcome Ham Rothstein to the show. He says, Coach Gogue pulls no punches. Does he have any dates coming up?
Dates?
Boy. Oh, don't even worry about it. G Funky Boxing says, a ton of boxing gyms, but no world championships. But I have my eye on a few prospects. And yeah, G Funky is very good about giving some shine to the local fighters in the Northern California area.
Yeah, but G, without a promoter, they're not going to shine. All right, you need a promoter that knows how to develop them from the 4s to 6, the 8, the 10s to the 12-round stage, cultivate them and up the ladder, getting the right opponents and developing them into ticket sellers. Okay, you got to develop a market for them. Okay. Without a promoter over there, it's going to be hard for them guys realistically to make it. Okay. That's the way it is in boxing, man. I've seen so many fighters out there. They never had a promoter backing them. Like Joe Goosen told me it long ago. He never would have had the success he had in boxing without his brother Dan. And that always stuck in my head. When Joe told me that. In order to be a great trainer, you gotta have more than the talent. You better have a talented promoter, okay, that knows how to move your fighter.
There it is, brother. And once again, in San Antonio, our latest big time champion, Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, I actually called his fight, his pro debut, a 4-rounder with promoter Rick Morones, right? Once again, Rick doesn't sign any fighters a lot like Don Chargan. I wonder where he learned that, Coach.
Probably Don.
No, exactly, Don. I'm the one who introduced him to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But check it out. Want to welcome our brother LLOHS to the show. He says hellos. Happy birthday to the coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, and he says one fighter I know is with 360 promotions now. Well, I don't see very many cards that they're putting together on a regular basis.
Who's 360?
That's the former K2 Promotions West with Steve Loeffler.
Tom Loeffler.
Or Tom Loeffler. I'm sorry. My apologies. Tom Loeffler.
So they're called 360 now?
Yep. 360 now. They used to be K2 Promotions West.
Yeah. Okay. They don't do a lot of shows no more.
No, they don't do a lot.
You know why, Joe? Tom's
really
a good promoter. Tom's a good boxing guy.
Smart guy, yes.
It's the commissions it's these commissions that make it so tough for these promoters to do shows. They make them so they don't make them cost effective. It's expensive with all these fucking regulations they hammer you on. You know what I mean?
Gosh, yeah, especially in California, brother.
Oh God, bleeding heart, California. Yeah.
Yeah, Texas.
Hey, I'll tell you a story, Joe. You want to hear a story?
Let's hear it, brother.
Oh man, this is way before Don passed away, man. I'm like, Don back then, you got to have a hub when you're promoting shows in your hometown. There's got to be a go-to spot where everybody remembers. Oh, this is the place for fights. This is the place. You know what I mean? It's a brand. You got to brand it in these motherfuckers' heads. But anyway, back in the days, G Funky, it was the downtown Memorial, baby. That was like the blue horizon of the West. That was. You should see the setup, Joe. It was perfect for boxing, baby. Old school, perfect. 5,000. It would fit. And I've been to many sold out shows there, like when Bobby Chacon fought Freddie Roach, and Bobby Chacon fought Art Frias, the former WBA champion, and that was the hub. That's where Tony and Loretto, Willie Jordan got built up. It was downtown, perfect location, so easy to get to, man. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, man, Don started doing shows. He took his act to this, the Radisson. And I'm like, Don, man, what's going on, man? Well, we ain't doing shows at the downtown Memorial. He goes, the fucking unions there. They started trying to extort him for ridiculous amounts of money. You know how it is, Joe.
Yeah.
And he said, fuck you. And that's why there's never been a great fight card since Don quit doing shows there at the Memorial because of that. The fucking union over there, they started, doing all that bullshit. And combine that with the commission, with all the added expenses, they make it impossible for a promoter to turn a profit, man. You know what I mean? That's why I don't blame these fucking promoters. Why would they want to get into boxing when it's so over-regulated? Okay. Nowadays the fighters don't want to fight nobody, even in the 4-round stage, and they want a lot of money. You know what I mean? And they can't sell tickets. Yep. And they can't sell tickets. So it's hard.
That is the truth. And you say, well, you know how it is, but actually I don't, because Texas is an anti-union state. It's a right-to-work state. And so that's why you see right now so many Californians moving to Texas.
Yeah, that's why it killed boxing in Sacramento when they quit doing it at the downtown. Man, Joe, that was a perfect place. Motherfucker, that was the bomb, man. Last time, the last great show they had there at Sacramento was in 2006 when that Mexican Don brought a show there on HBO after dark. I think it was the Philippines versus Mexico, That it did like 6,500, over $200,000 gate. It was the last great show there in Sacramento. They haven't had a great show there since. And before that, they haven't had a great show at the Memorial. Last time I remember them doing a show at the Memorial was back in the 90s, 97. Yeah,
well,
97, 98.
G Funky stated the Memorial Auditorium, they still host events. But once again, promotion is everything and talent is everything, right?
Yeah, but they don't do boxing.
And there it is. And there it is. Hold on. My brother Sly Tennessee says, any thoughts on Samson's comments on Andrade not being able to sell a seat?
That's true.
Look, preaching to the choir, brother. Preaching to the choir. Anyone who listens to this show, they understand exactly where Demetrius Andrade is, well, on the totem pole in terms of priority with any promoter. That's why no one really wants to work with him.
Yeah.
No one wants to work with him. My brother LLOHS says, question, why are the Saudis investing in boxing, Coach?
Because I heard Bodak Jack has a lot to do with it over there. He's got some influence in Dubai. Okay.
Badu Jack. Oh, geez. Well,
he's got influence over there, man. I heard with people over there.
Well, look, what I will say is this. Don't forget our prognostication on Ronnie Shields' show, Truth or Dare, or Fact or Fiction, right? Fact or Fiction?
Yeah.
Now, once again, a prognostication I made several months ago. I said, look, guys, don't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez, well, competes in the cruiserweight division later this year and fights for his 5th major world title against Badu Jack in the Middle East.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, once again, and Gogue, do you think? And once again, they're paying, oh geez, absurd inflated purses all their talent. Once again, just signing Alexander Usyk, because that's the only place he's going to be able to make money. But I will say this though, Gogue, do you think it's healthy for the sport overall?
You still can watch the fights on TV or whatever network that's going to broadcast the fight. So, yeah, but you got to look at this. Usyk, he ain't a fucking draw in the States. Who gives a shit about him over here? And Ukraine, they're having problems right now. So, and they're going to pay him the best money in over there. Yeah. I don't know how long that's going to last, Joe. You know what I mean?
Well, look. And I will say this. You taught me this. One of the reasons for the decline of popularity in the States is that the promoters started taking the easy way out and the big money, the quick, easy money.
Yeah.
And putting all of these events in the sterile casinos, taking them away from the fans and putting them in these casinos. Well, that's exactly what the Saudis are doing, guys. Okay, once again, out of sight, out of mind. They've got these huge pockets. But are you really going to create any new fans, Gogue?
Joe, if the matchup is solid, people could still watch it on TV. You know what I mean? But the thing is, you're developing a market over there in the Middle East where they got money. You know what I mean? So, and Middle East is booming over there in Dubai. Qatar, and you know what I mean. All that oil money over there. They're making it like the Monte Carlo of the Middle East. You know what I mean. All the rich of the whole entire world go over there and everything. Yep. So
that's the flavor of the month. And that sure is. Want to welcome my brother Rodney Evans, aka Hot Rod. He says, Joe, Coach, blessings, sir. Coach, who you got, Inoue or Fulton, and why? That's coming up next month.
Oh, that's fighting. They're fighting in Japan. It's going to be hard for Fulton to get a decision over there. I want to see if Inoue has that same power. If he could carry it from 118 to 122. Oh, that motherfucker! Yeah, if he could do that, I'm favoring Inoue. The first 2 or 3 rounds, I'll see if he's able to get his attention, hurt him, put that fear into Fulton and everything. So we'll see.
And there it is. And there it is, guys. And once again, guys, we're 45 minutes in. It's time for our main event of the evening. And that's a tell the tape for the title challenger this Saturday night from the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden. That's Teofimo Lopez. Guys, Teofimo Andres Lopez, the takeover, is going to come into the ring at age 25. He fights out of the orthodox stance. He stands 5'8" tall in the center of the ring. Fights behind a 68.5-inch reach. Originally from Brooklyn, New York. He comes into the ring with a fine record of 18 wins, 1 loss, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what are the pros and cons of Teofimo Lopez?
The pros is he's a very talented fighter. He's athletic. He's explosive, quick hands, good instincts, good reflexes, skilled, good counter puncher. You know what I mean, Joe? And he's not robotic, Joe. He lets everything flow where, he'll hit you with shots you never expect and everything. Okay.
He's fluid,
real instinctive. Yes. He's real instinctive. Okay. He's a former undisputed champion of the world, but his last fight, he didn't look good. Well, guess what, though, Joe? When you fight a guy like that, Sander Martin, a guy that moves and a southpaw that moves around the ring, makes it a very, very difficult for you to hit him with a clean shot. Man, that's the worst style matchup, man. Me and Don Chargan used to talk about that all the time. I said, Don, the worst style matchup is the southpaw that moves. And Don said, yep. He goes, he always stayed away from guys like that. Okay. Southpaws that are movers. Okay. That are that are that don't want to pull the trigger, that are hesitant. You know what I mean? That hide behind their footwork or their jab. And that's the type of fighters that make you look like shit. And boy, Teofimo is, you know what I mean? That made Teofimo look real bad. He can get a clean shot off on him. And once, if you can't get a clean shot off on your opponent on a consistent basis, it gets you out of rhythm. It gets you feeling, uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Because you can't get into rhythm. He was just uncomfortable all night because of that guy's difficult style. So this fight, Taylor is not going to fight like this guy. Run around the ring and counter punch you, smother you, tie you up, make you lunge and all that shit. You know what I mean? Taylor, he'll be an easier target to hit and everything. But Teofimo, yeah, like I said, he's quick, sharp hands, explosive lead left hook. Explosive uppercuts, body shots, everything. The kid's an all around talented fighter and everything. It's just, he has mental breakdowns in his confidence at times, insecurities and everything. But this fight here, if I feel if he's focused, 110% focused, he's going to be a hard guy to beat, man, when he's on.
Yep, that's very difficult to argue with, Coach. And once again. So my question to you is, when you look at the brain trust at Top Rank, when you look at the matchmakers, were they simply trying to teach Teofimo Lopez a lesson or something? Why on earth would they stick him in the ring with Sandor Martin?
Hell, man, that was a bad style matchup, man. Honestly, maybe that's the only guy that they could get for the cheapest and everything. I don't know, Joe. Me personally, if I was his manager, I would have never took that fight, man. That's the worst style matchup you have for your kid to make you look bad. And when you look bad, oh boy, you're going to hear a lot of, Joe? You're going to hear a lot of, criticism.
Detractors, naysayers, criticism. Yep.
Everything. Yeah. So,
I tell you what, Sandor Martin, well, he discouraged Mikey Garcia enough to where he tapped out and went into retirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again,
difficult style to fight, Joe. That Martin, difficult, in and out. Moves around the ring. Can't make. He's never a stationary target. He leans back, makes you lunge and all that shit. Makes you look bad, Joe. Makes you look bad.
Defensive minded. There it is. And G Funky has the beat. He says, Martin barely sat down on a punch in that fight. Yeah. It's almost like he was. And once again, Gogue, how hard is it to land a clean shot against a world-class fighter who's defensive minded?
Oh, shit. Very hard.
So
you don't even
guys,
have to be Joe. You don't even have to be a world-class fighter. All right. You can have that type of style. You can have world-class skills. It's going to be hard for you to hit that guy.
You know what, Gogue? And once again, I'm truly convinced, and not to be conspiracy theorist, but because Teofimo Lopez, after he won the undisputed championship, once again, because of the commotion that he caused before fighting George Kambosos, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think they were trying to humble the kid by sticking him in with Sandor Martin. That's just my opinion.
Whatever. Yeah.
Well, once again, because they know better. Brad Goodman, Bruce Trampler, are you kidding me? Yeah, and there it is. G Funky also says Teofimo is so much faster than Taylor. It's going to be a problem, in my opinion. What say you, Coach?
I see the same thing. The speed. Yeah, I said that. He's athletic. He's got quick hands. He's got some pop in them punches. Joe, like I said, you can't. He's not robotic. He does different. He gives you different looks. He mixes up his attack, offensively or defensively. Okay, yeah. And Taylor's going to be an easier target to hit. I said that I was saying he has superior athleticism, the speed, the reflexes. Okay?
Yep, and Josh Taylor, for some reason, he likes to make, and once again, he's a dog. He's a warrior at heart. And he likes to make, matchups, a little bit more difficult than they need be. He loves to sit in the pocket and brawl. Yeah. But we'll get to that when we do the tail the tape for Josh Taylor. But Sly, he reminds me of a basic truth here. He says Martin was a last-minute replacement because Pedraza pulled out. That is right. That is absolutely right. And we want to welcome our brother Punch and Punchy to the show. And yes, the sweet amber is indeed flowing tonight. This is Gogi's birthday show, don't you know? And there it is. So Gogue, let's go to the defending, reigning, lineal 140-pound champion, Josh Taylor. Guys, the Tartan Tornado is going to come to the ring fighting out of the southpaw stance. He stands 5'10" tall in the center of the ring. He fights behind a 69.5-inch reach from Edinburgh, Scotland. He comes into the ring with a perfect record. 19 wins, 0 losses, although that should be 1. 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what are the pros and cons of the reigning champion, Josh Taylor?
Hey, he's solid, man. He could box you from the outside, or he could take it to you on the inside. He's a southpaw. He's ambidextrous too. He could fight right-handed, but he's more comfortable fighting from the left-handed position. His best work is when he works inside. Okay, he's a very, very good body puncher, a very good combination puncher. You know what I mean? He has a big amateur background, so you know what I mean. He understands how to adapt. Adapt during the fight. Change his tactics. Okay, he knows how to, all that stuff. How to neutralize you if you're a good counter puncher with feints and stuff like that. He all around, Joe, he's solid, man. But his best work is when he's in the inside. The uppercuts, the hooks, the short compact punches, the body shots and everything. Yeah. That's when he's effective and everything. He doesn't have much of a jab, okay, to control that range and distance. That's okay, so he's gonna have to, you know what I mean, keep that. The distance got to be right, short to medium range, to be at his best with Teofimo and everything. But anyway, yeah, he's a solid, tough competitor and everything. He looked like shit his last fight too, because he fought an awkward southpaw, not a guy that didn't run as much, but just an awkward southpaw style of Catarao. So,
yeah. Well, I tell you what, Look, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, like I spoke on last night's show with G Funky. From what I was told, well, it was more of a fat camp than any kind of strategic preparation for Jack Catterall.
Yeah, whose fault was that?
Yeah,
That was
well,
his
yeah,
fault. That was his fault for fucking getting complacent, not taking care of business between fights, staying in shape, keeping his weight down. Okay, he's a professional. He got lax. He lost focus. Okay, you know what I mean? He got complacent. Yep. Complacency is the number one enemy of a fighter. Okay.
And there it is. And there it is. Spoken from the coach, James Gogue. And I tell you what, this is going to be a great fight, guys. And it wouldn't surprise me. And once again, coach, some fighters, well, I would say most fighters, they've got so much dog in them, so much mental and physical toughness. And as soon as it turns into a fight, well, all strategy, all game planning goes out the window. Would it surprise you if you saw that on Saturday night?
Nah. Both guys are going to try to stick to the game plan, what they got to do to win the fight. Both guys are mentally tough, physically tough. Okay. Both of them are, I call resilient competitors. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, the better fighter, the guy that's going to win is the guy that's a better fighter who's going to execute his strategy. Okay. All right. That's going to be the winner.
Yep. And there it is. And that leads us into our next category. Well, what do they have to do to win? But before we do that, let's get a question. Well, let's get a comment from our brother, Joseph Brown. He says, this is the biggest fight at 140 in 2023. Well, Try to tell that to Eddie Hearn. And there it is. So, Coach Gogue, what does Teofimo Lopez have to do to become the lineal 140-pound champion against Josh Taylor?
Box intelligently, okay? Keep everything in the center of the ring. Don't become a stationary target where Taylor could, do his best work at medium or close range. And how do you not become a stationary target, Joe? Good movement. Stay off the rope, stay out of the corners. Try to keep everything in the center of the ring. And if you do get by the ropes or in the corner, find an escape route, pivot out of there. Take everything back to the center of the ring and control everything from distance with that touch jab. From that touch jab, okay, that's going to get him the rhythm. That's going to, he'll find his distance. And he'll go on the attack, whether it's leading with that right hand, left hook right hand, or that lead left hook he likes to throw, or Teofimo, like I said, he's very creative and he changes his attack offensively. He might come try to sneak that uppercut in there off a combination, but just keep the movement, keep him at range and distance as much as possible. Don't get into a firefight with this guy when he does get his range, which is close. Which is medium to short range. Just smother him up, okay? Pivot around him. Let the referee break you. But when you're in there, rip some good body shots too, because you got to get. If Josh starts putting that heat on him, starts putting the pedal to the metal. Well, you got to let some air out of those tires, and the best way to let air out of a guy's tire is them sweeping right hooks to the body, the straight right hands to the body, okay? Just like Devin Haney did, the sweeping right hook to the body slowed Lomachenko down, okay? You know what I mean? It took some enthusiasm out of him, to come forward. And that's what Lopez got to do. He's got to establish, when he starts getting in range, nail him with some hard shots, get his attention, get him respect, and hit him with some body shots like Haney did. That straight right hand to the body is going to work a lot when he's a southpaw. When Taylor's a southpaw, okay, that takes a lot of steam out of you, okay. But just be Teofimo. Keep boxing and staying to his left, boxing in circles. Keep turning them. Don't let Taylor set his feet, and don't become a stationary target. And just be him. Use his superior speed. Counter punching too. Step back counters, okay. Or slipping counters, blocking counters, catching counters. Okay. When Taylor's there, okay. That's where superior athleticism comes in. You could do that when you got the superiority in hand speed, okay, and reflexes and all that. You can execute your game plan better, and that's what I would do. You know what I mean? The uppercut, the right uppercut, left hook, right hand always works on the southpaw. I like Taylor, but you got to get his attention early on, okay? You got to get his attention. Put some fear in him, okay? Let you know that you're not just going to come in and try to steamroll me. And the best way to do that, hit him with some sharp counters, some fast, sharp combinations, and them sweeping right hooks to the body, like Devin Haney did Lomachenko. But just stay off the rope, stay out of the corners, and he'll be fine. He'll be able to execute his game plan to perfection.
Guys, before we move forward, we want to give a big shout out to Miss Bitch. She says, good bitch evening, everybody. God bless you, sister, and thank you for being here. Joseph A+++, thank you so much. And please give a warm shout out to my brother, Coach James Gogue. He's celebrating his birthday today on Warwick Radio, and thank you for being a part of it. God bless you, sister. Joseph Brown says this: if Teo lunges in with that leaping left hook, Taylor will leave Teo slumped over in shades of Marquez versus Pacquiao. What say you, Coach?
That man, Teofimo, man, he when he throws that lead left hook, man, it's real sharp and crisp. He doesn't lunge with it and everything. So he keeps his balance. He keeps his head centered. You know what I mean? So he doesn't lose his balance and everything. But yeah, it's sneaky when Teofimo throws it, that lead left hook, man. It's real whap. You know what I mean? Like Canelo. Canelo throws a beautiful lead left hook. And Teofimo is the same way. And if he hits Taylor, he's got to hurt him. The first 4 or 5 rounds is going to tell me right off the bat.
Yep, and there it is. There it is. And G Funky, guys, and this is something to look forward to. He says, I've got my film study all ready for tomorrow night. Guys, we're going to be there tomorrow night at G Funky Boxing. Don't miss it. Thank you so much, G, for joining us tonight. And Miss Bitch says, James, I'm sorry, but you get a B+ today. Oh, geez. What a harsh critic. Thank you, Miss B. We appreciate it. But we want to give a big shout out to my brother, Toby Bartlett from across the pond. Salute Joe and the chat.
Well, she probably is picking Josh Taylor.
Well, you know it, brother. And once again, Toby Bartlett, he's joining us. I think it's 7 a.m. over there. He's joining us over breakfast.
Oh, okay.
And he also says, happy birthday, Coach.
Hey, thank you, Toby. Appreciate it, man. Across the pond, nothing but love.
And there it is. Best boxing fans on the face of the earth. So Sly Tendency says, really feel like Teo can't get out of his own way. Now, James Gogue, once again, we usually don't do this in your keys to victory, right? But I do have to ask you, what part do you think it's going to play in this matchup? The mindset or the, seemingly fragile mindset of Teofimo Lopez?
He's got to be mentally focused. Okay. He's got to be mentally tough to block all this shit out. Okay. He's got to be mentally focused on his game plan. What he's got to do to win the fight. He's got to execute. Okay. His game plan, what he's got to do to win that fight. He can't be, thinking about all this and that. Okay. You're supposed to act like a professional fighter, and a professional fighter, when you go into a fight, you block all that bullshit out, and you become that resilient, mentally tough, resilient competitor, and you execute your game plan. Okay. Now, when it starts getting tough in there, adversity sets in. Okay. You react accordingly, keeping your composure and poise. And you respond accordingly, battling back, okay? Changing the momentum of the fight in your favor, all right? That's a resilient competitor, okay?
Yeah, it's very well said, Coach. And once again, this is why so much criticism is targeted or directed towards Teofimo Sr., his chief second. Most people don't think that Teofimo Lopez Sr. is going to keep his son, keep him in check and keep him, emotionally balanced. How crucial is his involvement going to be in this fight?
Oh, it's going to be very important. Okay, he's the captain that steers the ship when rough waters come. Hey, he's got to be composed and calm, just like the fighter. He's got to react the correct way. He's got to respond with the instructions to get his son back on the right course to overcome the adversity and turn the tide around. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what, guys, and this is probably the reason why a lot of people, even though it's an even money fight on most sports books, that's why a lot of people are picking Josh Taylor. Because have you ever heard Teofimo Sr., Coach, give great corner advice?
Yeah, Joe, you know what? He's not that bad in the corner. He's not bad. Sometimes he screws up. Yeah, sometimes I kind of but he's not bad. Okay?
Well, I will say this. It's a tale of two Teos then, because when the Loma fight happened, he was on point, right? But when he fought George Kambosos, that was horrific.
Exactly.
I could have given better corner advice. So we'll see what happens on Saturday, guys. The plot thickens. And once again, Toby says, happy birthday, Coach Gogue.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. I appreciate it, Toby.
And
Thank
Toby
you.
also corrects me and says, and I always get this wrong. You know that, Toby. And he also says, nope, it's 5:04 a.m. at the moment, Joe.
Good morning.
So thank you for being with us, brother. Thank you very much for hanging with us and listening to Coach Gogue. And he says, Joseph Brown says, I do again. Teo athleticism is his biggest weapon against Taylor. Stay on the outside if he fights Taylor if he fights Taylor on the inside, mano a mano, he will get beat down like a dog. Your thoughts, Gogue?
I just said that in my breakdown.
And there it is. Great minds think alike. And Joseph says this also. I'm still putting my money on Teo in this fight. Money line. Well, we're going to go into the odds, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Let's go to the keys to victory for Josh Taylor, the incumbent and reigning title holder.
I thought I did that, Joe.
Did you do the keys to victory? No, you did the keys to victory for Teofimo Lopez, right?
I did it for Taylor. Get the distance right. Close, quarters, median distance. Try to make him a stationary target. Try to get him on the ropes. Try to get him in the corners. Keep him there. Don't let him pivot out of there. Don't let him utilize escape routes. Try to make him a stationary target as possible. Then do your best work. The body shots come back to the head. Or the short compact combinations to the head, come back to the body. Mix your combinations up. Taylor is also a skilled counterpuncher with the step back counters and everything. Okay, utilize that when Teofimo lunges. Just step back and counter. But like I said, that straight left hand should be there all day. Come back with a right hook. That left uppercut he throws when he gets in close. Okay, when he gets in close, don't wait for the ref to break him. Sneak that left uppercut in there like he did against Jose Ramirez. Okay, all right. That'll be just smother him. Then once the ref doesn't say nothing, work your way out of it. Step back a little and wham, hit him with that sneaky uppercut when he least expects it. But put them combinations together. The uppercuts, the short compact combinations in the pocket, the short uppercuts, the hooks to the head, the body shot, hit him with punches at all angles. Okay, he don't throw his jab very effectively, but he needs to have a nice jab in Teofimo's face when he's closing that distance to make his offense attack more effective and everything. And so he doesn't get countered by those sharp combinations when he's closing that distance. Okay, he's got to have that jab. And the feints and all that. He knows all that stuff, man. He knows how to feint, okay, to break your timing and rhythm so you can't counter. But that jab, when he's closing the distance, he's gotta put a nice stiff jab in Teofimo's face to get him uncomfortable. Okay. Then like I said, try to make him a stationary target as much as possible, and don't let Teofimo get into rhythm at range and distance. And keep it, because if he does, boy, he's going to pick Taylor apart with the superior athleticism and speed.
Well, I tell you what, Coach Gogue, after hearing everything that you've had to say, yeah, I can't wait for Saturday night, guys. What say you? This is going to be a great event, great fight. The two of the best at 140. Yeah, I can't wait, guys. This is going to be a great, great fight. And G Funky says, yep, Coach and I are on the same page with this fight. And once again, yeah, great minds think alike. And there you are. I tell you what, we want to welcome Joey Chaz, the eternal optimist, to the show. He says, I got Teo by decision. We'll see. We'll see. That's why they fight the fights. Anything can and often does happen in the theater of the unexpected. And want to welcome Junior Smile to the show. He says, everyone's betting currently on Josh Taylor, and Vegas knows this. Teo is my pick. Teo by late KO. We'll see. We'll see what happens, guys. And I love fights like this, Coach Gogue. Once again, two guys are coming off of two very, questionable performances, and they both feel that this is a must win with their career moving forward, right?
Exactly. So, this is a make or break fight for both fighters. Teofimo Lopez loses his fight. Boy, you think he's got mental problems now. He's really going to have mental problems. Josh Taylor, if he loses this, he loses his fight. What is he, 35 years old?
Yep.
Okay.
Enough said. Want to welcome Khalid to the show. Thank you for being a War a Week radio extended family member, brother. God bless you, and thank you for being here for the coach. He says, I think Teo has a good chance if he boxes and moves. Well, just like the coach said. Let Taylor come to him, and he stays on the outside to mid-range. Taylor struggles with boxers. Remember, Catterall and Postal. That's a good point. That's exactly what the coach said. He can't be a stationary target. Once again, man, thank you for joining us, my friend. He says, I just sub Great Boxing Minds on this channel. Thank you so much, brother, for subscribing to War Week Radio. And guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. And thank you for subscribing, brother. We go to the odds now, Coach. Now, once again, you're usually right on the money. When you look at the odds by the sports books, and we like to always revere the BetMGM, right? That's our sports book of choice. So right now, Coach, what would you say the line is?
Hell, man, I don't know, man. This is Teofimo favorite, or I don't know, Joe.
No. Take a guess. You're very good at this. Take a guess. What do you think?
I say Teofimo 2-1.
You know what? Right now, BetMGM has even money. This is an even money fight.
Okay.
Josh Taylor is a minus 160, so he's slightly favored, with Teofimo Lopez, a very live underdog, at plus 138. You can't get any closer than that, guys.
Yeah.
Go look at the odds for Spence versus Crawford. This is closer, right?
Okay.
That's what people think. It's up in the air, Gogue. So now, here it is, the moment of truth. 1 hour and 15 minutes into the show. Coach Gogue, who do you favor on Saturday night in Josh Taylor defending his titles against Teofimo Lopez?
Oh, I'm going with Teofimo Lopez, baby. Teofimo. The athleticism, the speed, the creativity. The variation and how he changes up his game plan, his ability to adapt.
You know what?
Sorry
Coach?
about that.
You know what? No. You know what, Coach? That's not surprising once again, but a lot of fans think that it is, right? So Khalid says, I'm very surprised that Teo is only a plus 138. Everyone has him losing from what I've seen in the boxing community, but that doesn't surprise me at all. Does that surprise you, Gogue?
The way he looked, his last performance, he looked like shit. It's all perception, Joe. All right. That last fight he had made him look real bad. And his comments in the corner, do I still have it anymore? Do I still have it anymore? Perception, baby. Okay. Perception. People's perception is this guy's lost confidence in himself. He looked like shit. You know what I mean? He looked like shit when he fought Santander and everything. You know what I mean? It's all perception.
Sandro Martin. Yep, that's right. And guys, keep in mind, styles make fights. Guys, we're going to get a great one on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And it is for free on mainstream ESPN. Thank you. Thank you very much, Top Rank. We appreciate it. And look, guys. This is, for all intents and purposes, for all the marbles at 140 pounds. Once again, Josh Taylor, even though most people thinks that he lost against Jack Catterall, but he's still the lineal champion. He's still the WBO title holder. And look, Teofimo understands that he's under the gun. This is all or nothing. This will be, mark my words, from what I've been told, his final fight under the Top Rank banner if he loses. He knows this, right? So, guys, this is a great fight, and the stakes are very high. Can't wait for this one. So, once again, the warm-up, right? And unfortunately, though, this is going to be after the Teofimo Lopez-Josh Taylor fight, right? And I'm talking about Jaime Munguia versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. And thank God, though, that this is going to be scheduled at a different time, because this is taking place in California. It's going to be at a different time. It's going to be televised after the big fight in New York. And it's going to be televised on DAZN. Coach Gogue, is there anything that you'd like to say? Once again, I'm not going to go through the tail of the tape for this one.
Hey, Joe, let's call it fuck that fight. That's a guy that's been protected the last 2 years. Munguia hasn't fought nobody. He ain't got no better. And Derevyanchenko is long in the tooth, okay? Man, you know, Taylor is good enough, man. We ain't got to talk about that bullshit, man. Let's call it a night.
No, and that's it, guys. And once again, we're going to call it a night. And we want to thank Coach Gogue for all of his time. And once again, and why do you think that this is going to be a one-sided fight? Sergey is a shot fighter? Is that what you said?
Man, look, that motherfucking Munguia should be fighting a lot better guys than he's doing. The last 2 years, he has been fighting nobodies, okay? They've been protecting that guy with a silver spoon in his mouth. And Derevyanchenko, man, come on, man. He's been through the grind. You know, he's been in so many wars, man. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Shit. But anyway, let's call it a night, Joe. I'm tired, man. I gotta get to bed.
And there it is, Coach Gogue. And once again, he's been under the weather. So once again, Coach Gogue, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for all of your time. Thank you for your expertise. And guys, so I guess that's your parting shots tonight. Let's get to bed. But guys, on behalf of the incomparable James Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to Warwick Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down a road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow?